Welcome back for match 3 of today's action in the World Cup of Clash Royale. Germany looks to keep their great run going against Finland. This is NTWorlds. And taking a look at the standings so far in Group E for this competition, Netherlands and Germany, no surprises there. On top, Portugal had a chance to mix things up a bit. We'll have another one today later against the Dutch side, but Germany taking care of business first time out today, facing off against a Finnish side that is a little bit less experienced. One of the lesser experienced teams in competitive play, has plenty of players who are above 7K, so certainly have some chances to shock teams, but Germany, one of the hardest outs in the entire tournament, in particular because of their 2v2 duo, Sam and Morten. They have the 2v2, one of the best 2v2 duos from CRL representing Germany, so we should expect Sam and Morten out again in that 2v2 set. No reason why not. Wolfsdokter and Faust as the head-to-head players, one of those two for 1v1. Faust already with 1-2-0 victory. And for Finland, Rossi, Juuso, Make, and Mushroom. Aki was out last time in 2v2, not making an appearance in the roster this time around. We'll see if the Finnish squad can pull off the upset against Germany. It's going to be a tall order for anybody to beat this German team, especially until we get into those later stages of the bracketed rounds. Sam and Morten, a fantastic 2v2 duo. I believe overall they are 11-6 in 2v2 sets throughout their regular season career, and of course have added to that throughout the postseason in CRL West, both fall and spring. Of course, Faust and Wolfsdokter, both very talented players in their own right. This German squad, despite having only 2 CRL players, has a lot of depth. Faust, Wolfsdokter, and Schwarzen, all very talented young players who proved their mettle earlier on this season in Clash Contender Series. Faust, of course, closing that out for the championship with Existence. And they've continued to be very, very talented in the Orange Crown League. All 3 of those players doing a very, very good job over in that Spanish-run organization. So 3 very talented young semi-pro players, 2 very, very talented top-tier pro players who went on to win the CRL West Championship in this last fall season, making this German team very difficult. And with 2v2 being so important, obviously being one of the 3 sets that decides a match, gives the German side a real advantage to have SK Gaming's actual duo, who have spent so many hours practicing together, scrimming together, getting those reps in together and understanding the meta significantly. So all those things together make them so difficult and gives Germany a huge advantage moving forward, even with these other teams that have high-tier players. You take a look at Spain, which had a great showing today, Bale and Ruben coming out. They have not put in the hours together that Sam and Morten have. So even when you look at a great team like Spain, a talented squad like the US, or look at Mexico, you look at any of these top teams, even look at the other team, the Dutch squad here with we'll see later today with Surgical Goblin and Loweye as the pair. Very, very different. Let's go ahead and jump into the action. Sam and Morten, bottom of your screen for Germany. Finland at the top. So it's not going to be Sam and Morten, shockingly enough. It's going to be Wolfsdokter and Morten as the 2v2 duo. A bit of a surprise here from this team. Not what anybody was really expecting, but Wolfsdokter, as I said before, obviously a very talented player as well. Rossi and Mushroom out, so a totally different 2v2 look from the Finnish side. Rossi did come out with Aki last time around, but Mushroom in. A big substitution. So it's Hog Rider. It's everything. It's Hog Rider, bait, wall breakers for the Finnish squad, and Graveyard for Germany. And it's a freeze defensively in for the German team. Hog Rider still does sneak through and get some shots. Finland getting some good work already in this matchup. We're going to take a second after this game, folks, to try to work out some of these resolution issues that are happening. We thought we got a good fix earlier on, but yeah, we're definitely aware of the lag. We were trying to fix an issue earlier, but somehow the fix has compounded it. So I will take a look at that as soon as this game is over and see if we can't get a better version for you here in a moment. And Germany firing right back. Goblin Barrel in for the finish. Log cleans it up. Snowball trying to clear room out. Hog Rider, though, if that Hog Rider connects, Hog Rider does not connect. 55 HP right-hand side. All the Finnish need is something. Barrel doesn't get a stab in, and the Finnish side takes the first game of 2v2 off the Germans. Unbelievable. All right, working to get this fixed here, folks, so give us just a moment. Seeing if we can't make this go back to the quality we had beforehand. One second, please. All right, there we go. This should fix the issues we were having beforehand. Sorry about the slight mishap there with the frame rate. Not sure why it dropped so late. We've been trying in the interim to get everything cleaned up so it's a little bit faster for you, but looks like this will be better as we go into game number 2. Finland up 1. Gonna open that crop up just a bit for you guys. And there we go. Now we're back in action. So the Hog Rider, Wall Breakers, Goblin Barrel, Kitchen Sink, and other Madness deck works out for Finland the first time around. We'll see if they can do it again. Germany coming out here with Morton and Wolfstalker. Now got to be wondering if taking Sam out of the 2v2 was the right idea. Maybe overlooking Finland a bit. This time it's the Germans going with Goblin Barrel, a more central bait deck. Of course, they also have the Wall Breakers mixed in, so could there be a Hog Rider in there somewhere? That'd be crazy. And left-hand tower goes down fairly easily. So Finland, after taking a shocker in game number 1, falling behind early in game number 2. EU is cycled in the back for Finland. Right-hand tower of Germany down to 1385. Poison in response to the graveyard, and that should be enough to end this second game in the Germans' favor. It'll be very difficult for the Finnish side to break through at this stage. Royal Giant in the pocket now for Germany. Good game comes out from Finland. That's going to be it. Game number 2 goes to the German side. So there we are, all tied up through 2 games in this 2v2 set. Germany recovering from a rough one in game number 1. Hi, everybody. I'm Rich Slayton. Sorry for the technical challenges here. We're bringing the feed into me from Mexico and then back out to you. So trying to work out all the little kinks in the system, but we'll get there. I believe in us. I believe in you. I believe in us. So there you have it. 2 games in. Germany tied up 1-1 with Finland. Finland making things interesting, taking game number 1. So far, that's the first win in a game, I believe, for Finland. I think they went 0-2 in 2v2 last time and 0-1. Yep. So first game win for Finland. And that was, I believe, the first game loss for Germany. No, they did go 2-1 in their 2v2 set last time out. So Wolfstalker getting mixed in on the 2v2, not where we thought we'd see him today. There's your stats for game number 2 provided by Stats Royale. Morton and Wolfstalker going with bait. And, you know, I'm kind of surprised they showed the Royal Giant at the end. Maybe they were just flashing off a little bit, but I might have saved that Royal Giant, considering the game was in hand, not played it, and used it as a surprise later. So gotta wonder if that was on purpose, or if Morton is kind of giving Wolfstalker a talking to right now, saying, hey man, we didn't need the Royal Giant. But my guess is they did it on purpose. I might have saved it, though, to use it as a surprise maneuver later in the tournament, maybe even in game number 3, potentially. Finland going double graveyard, not able to pull off the win this time. They went super crazy in game number 1 with very, very weird Goblin Barrel, Wall Breaker, Hog Rider deck, and you can see Morton and Sam going something kind of similar with the Royal Giant mixed in, getting wild themselves. We'll see if Finland has anything crazy in store for the 3rd and final game of this set. Finland opens Goblin Cage into the right-hand lane. Giant Skeleton Dark Prince for the Germans on that same side. And that Dark Prince not able to escape from the bridge battle. An interesting snowball here, maybe trying to force a response out from that baby dragon. And it's going to be Giant Skeleton, Royal Giant, very popular CRL combination for 2v2 coming out for the German side. Right-hand tower goes down to 1772. Finland looking to counter push now, deciding not to load up and let this Musketeer just go out on her own. The Germans decide not to take a shot, had plenty of elixir, cycle the log and prevent any damage, and Mushroom hitting 10 elixir cycles his snowball. Finland currently up in elixir but down in HP as we enter the midway point of regulation. Mushroom, a 7k player, 72-23, his personal best. His teammate Rossi, 7010, 7010. Morton on the other side of it, personal best, 8168. And his teammate Wolfsdoktor, not much of a ladder player, more of a competitive player with experience in the Copa, CCS, and now the Orange Crown League. Royal Giant, Baby Dragon behind. Battle Healer at the bridge. And that Fisherman not able to retarget the Royal Giant, but able to keep it from getting any more damage on tower, 1688. And that's a beautiful lightning from the Germans. Tower damage, takes the Musketeer, and the E-Wiz off. Good use of the lightning, very opportunistic. A positive elixir trade plus tower damage. Not much has gotten through for Finland in this third game. Fisherman not able to be blocked by the split guards. Valkyrie goes down. For Germany, winning the bridge battle so far. Look at that Brawler getting right in front of the Musketeer, keeping her alive a little bit longer, but unfortunately for Germany, the Finnish Musketeer gets targeted. Here we go, going into sudden death overtime. Germany ahead by a lot on HP, and a lot of it has been because of the brilliant lightning play. That's the second good value lightning from Germany against Finland. Plenty of elixir in the hand of Germany to defend. Finland finally pulls the trigger on their first graveyard, but nothing gets across the bridge really to tank for it. And a freeze comes in, but Log Dart Goblin able to clean that up without too much trouble, and now Germany with a horde of troops going the opposite direction. Mega Minion escapes, gets one shot on the top left side, does not do much more than that. Royal Giant behind the Giant Skeleton. Fisherman not able to pull anything. Royal Giant gonna get another shot on the tower. Probably will finish it right here. And a defensive freeze comes out and keeps the squad alive a half second longer, but a good game coming out from the Finnish side, believing that they are probably dead in the water at this stage. Going with the graveyard into the strong side tower rather than the one where they already had damage. If they were going to pull off an upset victory, that would have been it right here. Can they get a lightning block here? Germany's going to go for the lightning. No, they go with the poison down instead. Cheeky play, and the lightning is to give a little punctuation note at the end. After dropping game number one, Morton and Wolfsdoktor get back in rhythm and take care of it. 2 games in a row where they never really looked threatened at all. So the Finnish side playing some interesting decks, an interesting deck in game number one, and maybe catching the German side off guard with the weird construction they put together. But then games 2 and 3, Germany locking it down, getting it done, and moving on to set number 2 with the victory. Now the question is, they pulled Sam out of 2v2, but he's still in the active lineup. So does this mean Sam is going to come out in 1v1, or, as I believe Faust was the 4th player on the list today, does Faust come out for that 1v1 set after the clean 2-0 he had last time out? It's a very interesting question. Sam has not played a ton of 1v1 sets at this stage in his career, has been primarily a 2v2 player. Speaking of 2v2, let's look at the stats provided by Stats Royale from that last game, and it wasn't until very late that Finland was able to finally pull the trigger on their graveyard, only getting 2 down, getting them down on opposite sides of the board as well. It was Germany on the offensive the entire time. It took 3 Royal Giants, but all those Royal Giants got quite a bit of damage, except for the second one. Got eaten alive by the Fisherman pulling it to the middle, but not a problem there. Royal Giants connect the lightning. You can see 4 lightnings played, and the spells really were the difference here in this matchup. those lightnings got a ton of value. Twice, I believe, taking 8 elixir off the board plus getting tower damage. So positive 2 elixir trade plus tower damage. That's going to work out well for you every single time. Germany, the reverse sweep in 2v2. Now up 1 set and looking good, as we expected. But Finland definitely made it interesting. Had a rough outing their first time out, but this one a little better, getting their first game win. But hard to play against someone as talented as Morten, and Wolfsdoktor as well. Has a good level, has been getting a lot of experience over 2019 into 2020. As I said before, CCS World Champions with existence for Faust Schwarzen and Wolfsdoktor, and staying active right now. And that's one of the things to think about with a lot of these players who are not CRL level, or who are not saying they're CRL levels, who are not currently on CRL rosters. A lot of those players staying active, in particular in the Orange Crown League. Wolfsdoktor playing with S2V Esports. So being able to keep themselves in shape, getting those reps in. Wolfsdoktor able to join up and take in the place of Sam and get the victory. So now the question is, who comes out for Germany in the 1v1? Faust and OP Sam as the two options. As I said before, Sam has not been playing a ton of 1v1. His most recent set, set number 3 or 4, I believe, set number 3 from the CRL West Finals, had the game in hand, got a bit nervous, and didn't get the spell down in time. They still ended up winning the CRL Western Region Championship, but, you know, Sam not playing as much in the 1v1, but he will be today. Sam comes out for Germany up against Juso for the Finnish side. Juso making his debut here. Last time it was Make in the 1v1. Juso now getting in the mix. It'll be an interesting battle here between Sam and the lesser-known player. Juso cycles Bandit in the back. Sam immediately replies with the Night Witch into the same lane. Musketeer behind for Juso as well. And Miner goes right to the Musketeer, preserving that Night Witch a little bit longer. Bar Barrel. Smart Bar Barrel from Juso. Will be Ram Rider for the Finnish player. And Hunter just takes that off the board with the log in conjunction. First minute away. No damage yet on either of Sam's towers. A small chip taken out of the right-hand side of Juso. And same sequence as before. Bandit cycled in the back. Night Witch in reply. So it's Giant Miner with Hunter and Night Witch. Miner on the Musketeer will get 3 shots, maybe 4th. Bandit, pressure from Juso at the bridge. And again, the Hunter comes in and cleans up all the dirt. So here we go, entering into double elixir time, and Sam chooses to switch lanes. Giant Night Witch behind. Mega Knight comes down with this Ram Rider deck. And a high poison from Juso on defense, trying to clear up the support behind the Giant. And Juso doing well so far. Has not given up a ton of damage, has defended a couple of big-time pushes competently. Has a good chance here to do some real damage. That poison going to get tower damage and going to get damage on the support troops. Sam starting to load up at the bridge. That miner goes to the back, not to the Musketeer. Fireball in on the Musketeer, pushes her out of range. Great fireball from Sam, but the E-Wiz will stop that from getting much worse. If the E-Wiz had not come down, that could have been disastrous for Juso. Juso probably having the best showing of any Finnish players so far. Of course, there was that 2v2 win earlier, but playing well at this stage. Giant Night Witch in support. Ram Rider, I don't believe she will connect. She does get one, but not charged up. Down to 1716, going to be under 1700. 2 Giants now for Sam. Baby Dragon High to deal with the Musketeer. Giant does not connect, and now Juso not able to build a counter push. Here we go. Ram Rider down for Juso, and Hunter immediately in. The Snowball tries to clean that up, but can't do it. Hunter and Log stop that Ram Rider before it can even get started. Juso's done a lot of damage left-hand lane, maybe a bit too late to switch lanes at this stage. The Ram Rider does give a lot of value in terms of trying to slow down some of that offensive pressure as well. And Sam choosing not to go miner to tower, instead getting that Musketeer off the board. Now, Baby Dragon escaping does stop the Barbarian with the skeleton. Sam in the lead. 25 seconds left. Juso eats a couple of really nasty belches from that Baby Dragon. E-Wiz goes up front. Sam spreading him thin. That's going to be it. That's going to be it. Miner takes care of the tower, and Sam gets game number 1. Juso played well, but Sam did a good job, especially there at the end, of making Juso make choices, and you saw right there on that last push, Giant in front, Miner to the back, and really Juso didn't have any options. The E-Wiz comes forward to deal with the Giant, doesn't pick up the Miner. Maybe expected Miner to go to the front, but of course with the Giant coming down, Miner was going to go to the back almost every single time. Sam getting game number 1 of 1v1. Germany now 1 away from securing the victory here against the Finnish side. Juso acquitting himself fairly well, but in a tough situation. And, you know, Sam's got to feel good about getting that 1v1 victory. Needs one more to seal this thing for Germany. That Giant Miner deck. The big question, you know, we talked about this Miner nerf quite a lot as of late, and the big question being what decks will be most affected by the currently undetermined teased Miner nerf. And a lot of people are saying that Giant Miner might be the biggest deck archetype on the chopping block when it comes to any sort of Miner nerf. So we'll see if a deck like this one continues to survive after those changes come out in the next balance update, expected as we move into March, which is right around the corner. But for now, Sam able to make good use of that overall archetype. And it became a big issue there for Juso at the end, where he didn't really have the ability to switch lanes after a while and had to keep on battling into that same lane, and the counterplay pressure of Sam eventually taking the tower down. A lot of Night Witch play from Sam, 9 getting down, and you can see the primary way of dealing damage on the tower, that Ram Rider just not able to do a ton of those because of how much defense he had to play. Juso falling by 1 tower in game number 1. Has to beat Sam twice in a row to keep Finland not just in the match, but overall in the tournament. So we'll see if he can pull that one out in the end. Sam had a nice counter to that Ram Rider, specifically the Hunter and Log combination, a -1 trade that would always take care of that Ram Rider and provide some counterplay on it as well. The Mega Knight not able to overwhelm at any stage for Juso. So Sam will move his overall record in this tournament to 3-1 on the strength of that win. 75% win rate so far in the NTWorlds. One more win would move that to a nice clean 4-1, 80% win rate. Juso looking to give Finland its 2nd game win. Here we go. Game number 2. Juso top of your screen, Sam at the bottom. And those split wall breakers, one does connect. A lot of people say that's the smartest play to open up with if you have wall breakers in hand, is to split at the river. You'll usually get one of those two to connect. Magic Archer in the back, so Sam's going with the wall breaker Magic Archer. And Juso going Sparky. Most likely it's Goblin Giant Sparky, most likely with Earthquake, as Earthquake has been the popular third piece lately. Moving away from Lightning towards Earthquake is this deck, a big part of that being the popularity of Bomb Tower. And Sam pressures right-hand lane, Snowball easily stops that. And can that Mini P.E.K.K.A get away from the tower in time? Doesn't need to. Log and Bats take care of the Sparky. Sam trying to counter push left-hand lane. The Bar Barrel does not stop the Mini P.E.K.K.A. Mini P.E.K.K.A gets tanked for by the Miner, and that's going to be nearly tower down left-hand side. Oh, the Bar Barrel played maybe a half step high, doesn't turn the Mini P.E.K.K.A around, and pure disaster for Juso in Finland. That play alone might have just eliminated Finland from the playoffs. That might be the one that takes them all the way out. You can see crying emojis coming from the gallery. The crying king, the crying royal ghost. Is there a crying skeleton in there somewhere? Man, just a little bit too high with that Bar Barrel. And suddenly Finland in a lot of trouble. Now, it is a Sparky deck. In the blink of an eye, a Sparky can turn things around, but with the bats, with the skeletons, with the Ice Golem, lots of ways to both do damage to the Sparky and to pick up those Sparky shots. So he should see skeletons or Ice Golem high here to absorb that first Sparky shot. There you go, Ice Golem high, Magic Archer way deep. Maybe skeletons now to pick up the second one. Lightning comes in, and it's a Mini P.E.K.K.A. Dark Prince, though, does get some good shots on the right-hand side. 1197, final 40 seconds. Minor wall breakers, and look at how high he plays this one this time. Plays the Miner into the safe spot. Wall breakers do connect. Looking to absorb, potentially, any shot that was going to come in there. Ice Golem down. Lightning comes in. I don't know if this will be enough. Sam should be able to defend this pretty fairly. Dark Prince trying to charge. Cannot get on. That Sparky not going to get a shot, and Sam will do it. Juso making it closer than it could have been. 499 left-hand side, but once that Bar Barrel did not pick up the Mini P.E.K.K.A on the left, that was it. That was absolutely it. And, you know, Bar Barrel can do that to you. Bar Barrel can betray you on occasion, especially if you're trying to catch a bandit, for example. Number of times you might miss that one is frustrating, but in this case, that Bar Barrel needed to be played one tile higher or one tile lower from Juso's perspective to be able to turn that Mini P.E.K.K.A around. Instead, Mini P.E.K.K.A escapes, tanked for by the Miner, and next thing you know, tower basically down in one fell swoop. Not much you can do to recover from that. And with that, Germany taking the 2-0 sweep in 1v1 on the back of Sam, and the 2-0 sweep in sets. 4-1 overall on the day for the German side, and Sam now moving his record as well to 4-1 in games played. 80% win rate so far through no-tilt worlds. Germany looking good, switching things up, taking Sam out of the 2v2, a move that you know, you find a bit suspicious, especially after losing game number 1, but Germany believes in the overall strength of their squad, and Finland, one of the less frightening matchups on their overall schedule throughout this tournament, so why not try some different things out in this match? They do that. Wolfstochter and Morten taking care of 2v2, getting that win, and then Sam coming out in 1v1, clean 2-0 sweep. Juso, again, acquitted himself fairly well most of the way through, but that Bar Barrel, you just can't recover from it. That Bar Barrel was the difference maker in this game, and might have been a very different story had he picked up that Mini P.E.K.K.A, but Sam kept the pressure on, got it done. And after that one moment, you know, you let a Mini P.E.K.K.A go to town like that, very, very difficult to bounce back from. So Germany will take their second win of this tournament, and with that, most likely will secure their spot all the way through. Portugal, the only team left that can make any case for that, of course. If Germany loses to Netherlands and Portugal beats the Netherlands, then things get very interesting from a tiebreaker's perspective. but that requires Portugal beating the Dutch side later today. Let's look at the stats from that game, courtesy of Stats Royale, and you can see Sam didn't need a lot to get it done. It was the mini P.E.K.K.A mostly. And Juso trying his best to battle back in it, but even as he was battling back into it, that right-hand tower was getting worked way, way down, very, very low with the minor wall breaker pressure. So there you have it, Germany getting one more in the winners column. We've had a couple quick ones today. Last match went by very, very quickly. This one, also a bit of a breeze for the German side. And now Germany watching very, very closely to see what happens between the Netherlands and Portugal. If the Dutch side wins, that will secure the Netherlands a spot through to, or that will secure Germany a spot through, and Netherlands a spot through to the out rounds. But if Portugal can beat the Netherlands, it gets very, very interesting. If Portugal beats the Netherlands, Portugal could also go up 2-1, and the Netherlands and German game, the German-Dutch game would become all that more important. If the Netherlands wins, the German-Dutch game is a pride game. It's deciding which one will be the first seed, which will be the second seed out of this group. But Portugal has a chance to really make things, to throw a wrench in the engine, as I've said a number of times so far over the course of this tournament. As we move into the end of week 2, the picture not that much clear most of the way around. But we'll get some clarity here when we get to the top of the next hour and we open things up, or we open up that game between the Netherlands and Portugal. Germany, one of the top seeds overall in the tournament, one of the number 1 seeds. There are many number 1 seeds, but Germany has not yet had the stumble that a lot of other teams have had. And that's all you need. Get a few wins in, get it done, and move on to the out rounds, and that's when the tournament really begins. This group stage has provided some excitement so far, a couple of big losses, but none of the number 1 seeds have been eliminated yet. And that would be a shocker if any of them didn't make it into the next round, but we have a few more that have to do it. Let's take a look at today's result. Germany, 2-0 sweep over Finland. Finland has 1 game win so far. And there you have Germany, top of the leaderboards. And as I said before, if the Netherlands wins, Portugal and Finland both drop to 0-2. Germany and the Netherlands are both automatically through to the next round. If Portugal wins, that makes the Dutch-German game very, very important. And then we get into tiebreakers, right? The first tiebreaker is head-to-head wins, but if the Germans lose to the Netherlands and Portugal beats the Netherlands, then we have a 3-way tie. We go on to set differential. Then we go down to game differential. Then we go down to crowns. And then after that, we go down to who knows what the tiebreakers after that, if we actually have to get to it. So next game, probably the biggest one, the most important match, at least at the moment, in this entire group, will determine a lot. Be back with you in about 20 minutes with the Netherlands facing off against Portugal. Welcome back. Here we are to the final match of the day. The Netherlands against Portugal. Netherlands a chance to secure the Sweet 16 for both themselves and Germany. Portugal with a chance to throw this group into absolute chaos. This is No Tilt Worlds. And looking at what we've seen so far today, opened up with Turkey taking out Italy. Group D getting very, very wild. Spain got back into the win column with a victory over Greece. Germany also sliced right through Finland. And the Netherlands up next against Portugal. The current standings, as you can see, Portugal-Netherlands. This one will be a big one. If Portugal can win, they end up 1-1, and then it will all come down to what happens when the Dutch squad takes on Germany. Of course, Portugal would also have to beat Finland. If the Dutch squad wins against the Portuguese, they are guaranteed through as well as the German side. The big question today, will we see Portugal's big star? The Dutch squad coming out with Surgical Goblin and Loei most likely as the 2v2 duo. That's what they ran last time. Of course, they could switch that up. Bob the Rock was in 1v1 last time. For Portugal, it was Jibas and Vitor in the 2v2 and Derplight in 1v1. Their star player, their 8K player, Lucas, did not come out last time. Derp coming out in 1v1. You have to imagine that Lucas will be on the board today in the 1v1 set, the 8.1K player. Very, very talented. And if there's any time you need him right now. So we'll see if that's the choice that Portugal goes with or if they run back the same roster from last time. Hi, I'm Rich Slayton, Clash Royale League caster, here with you for a lot of this No Tilt Worlds group stage. I'll be back as well for many of the knockout rounds. It's been a fun day today. No big surprises except for maybe Turkey taking out Italy. Still a close matchup there, but people probably thought after Italy beat Britain that they would beat Turkey much more easily. Did not happen. Other than that, since our opening game, it's been pretty much as the script was written. And now we come down to the last one, another close matchup. The Netherlands has a very talented squad, but so does Portugal. Of course, any team that has the GOAT, Surgical Goblin, in the lineup is going to be a tough out to beat. But Bob the Rock, also a very, very skilled player in both Clash Contender Series and Orange Crown League, might get mixed into 2v2 today, potentially. We'll see what happens there. And of course, Loei and Surgical Goblin did a great job in 2v2 together. Loei lots of CRL experience himself. On the Portuguese side, as mentioned before, it was Derplight out for 1v1 last time against the German side. We'll see if it's Lucas who comes out here against the Dutch squad in that 1v1 gameplay. You have to imagine that this is the time you pull him out with everything on the line. A loss here for Portugal means they're out of the tournament. Let's take a look at our 2v2 lineups, and the Netherlands going back to the same thing that worked before. Loei and Surgical Goblin in the 2v2, and Portugal again bringing out their same 2v2 duo in Jibas and Vitor. So we'll see if they can have better success this time out. For Portugal going 1-2 against the German squad, whereas the Dutch team had a nice clean 2-0 against Finland in their first time out. Again, to remind you of the stakes, a Netherlands win secures the round of 16 for both the Netherlands and Germany, but a Portuguese win then puts the Netherlands in a tough spot where they would have to beat Germany in order to move on, and things would get wild if they were unable to. So who knows what happens here. Portugal with a chance to make this group really crazy, but they have a tough one in front of them. And going Wall Breakers to open up. Wall Breakers has been around a bit more in 2v2. We didn't really see it very much in CRL, but here at No Tilt Worlds, it's been a big part of the 2v2 meta. And really aggressive opening play from the Portuguese side, going split to open and then to the right-hand lane. Miner to the safe spot. Tornado is banned, so we'll see how long it takes them to get a little bit more free with those miner placements. Still, they get the land, 2150 right-hand side. Snowball a bit behind the muskie, but no problems there, and Minor bats left-hand lane, freeze on the defensive side, fireball on the right-hand side. So the Netherlands able to defend there, but a lot of elixir spent to do it. Portugal just putting the pedal to the metal, driving 88 miles an hour. We might see them go back in time here if they keep this pace up. 2 lumberjack swings on the right-hand side suddenly put the lead in the hands of the Netherlands, 20-50, as we approach the midway point of regulation. Two v 2 duo for Portugal has some experience playing together in CCS for LA Gaming, where they got #1 in the European region. Of course, the two of them have both appeared in the past for Portugal in the World Royale League. Vitor currently having a great season in the Orange Crown League with the Titans. Would love to translate that success here. Fireball at the bridge takes care of that Magic Archer in support of the Giant Skeleton. Right-hand lane, Bats and Dark Goblins stop the Wall Breakers push, but the Netherlands having trouble keeping up with the pace right now. Bomb Tower E-Wiz. Freeze comes in, gets the Bomb Tower and the E-Wiz. Raged Up Balloon almost connects a beautiful snowball. Portugal playing out of their minds right now. Takes the lead on both sides to under 1,000 HP. The Dutch squad nearly snuck that balloon through, but Portugal heads up defensive play. Stop the balloon from connecting. Rocket high. Magic Archer and Bats should be enough. Yes, they are. A big Bat Swarm going the opposite direction. Magic Archer takes the Dark Goblin off the board. Split Wall Breakers. It's been a difficulty for the Netherlanders this whole way through. Right-hand tower down to under 600 HP. Bomb Tower E was defending the Raged Up Balloon on the top. A freeze does come in, does not get the last bat though. Musketeer trying to stop it. That balloon could connect. That balloon does connect. 380 left-hand side. The Netherlands trying to push. Snowball trying to make room here. Not gonna happen. The Dutch side steals it. The Dutch side steals it. Portugal looked like they had that one all together, but the balloon freeze sneaks on through, gets on tower, and they got the miner in. The snowball pushed the miner off, but nothing there to keep the miner off tower. Rocket couldn't get there in time, and wow, that was a great 2v2 game. It looked like Portugal had the Dutch side's number, and instead, Surgical Goblin and Low-Eye put it together, pull it out, and in the last second steal this one back away from the Portuguese. That is a heartbreaker for Portugal. Would have been great for them to open up with the game victory. Instead, they fall one behind against Surgical Goblin and Low-Eye. And taking a look at those stats, didn't take a ton of balloons for get it done, and got one in at the most important time. Very, very well played for Holland. Portugal, just so rough. It looked like they totally had it. Not able to steal this one back. Had good defensive sequences built, but you start looking at that deck construction, right? Bomb Tower, Double Bats, Snowball, and E-Wiz. The Magic Archer really not great for defending against that balloon. And that freeze can take care of those bats and really hamstring the E-Wiz and Bomb Tower. And we saw them try it on the right-hand side, nearly connected. But then on the left-hand side, got it done. Dutch squad up 1-0. And most likely going to see Bob the Rock in 1v1. Question will be, will Lucas come out for Portugal in the second set? But still more 2v2 left to be played. What do you do if you're Portugal right now? You had that one. It felt so good. Next thing you know, you're down one game. And most likely going to be the Hog Giant Skeleton Lumberjack build for the Netherlands. Minor wall breakers again for Portugal. Are they just running it back one more time? Bats high, and Miner doing work on the right-hand side. 15-30 on that right-hand tower. And Hog Rider comes in left-hand side. Bomb Tower picks it up easily. That's going to be Hog EQ, so that Hog Rider will get a shot, maybe two. Second one does come in. First minute away, and Portugal has the lead, but gave up a big chunk on that left-hand side. Miner in, wall breakers picked up by the bomb tower. 1274, right-hand lane. Approaching the midway point of regulation, Portugal in the lead. So look for Netherlands on this left-hand side as that giant skeleton gets closer to try to get that lumberjack behind the giant skeleton, and then the Hog Rider behind all of that. Hopefully the giant skeleton and lumberjack go in towards the bomb tower if the push gets pushed right. And look at this, a bit of a swerve going right-hand lane instead, getting out from behind the giant skeleton. So rather than build the three-part push in the left-hand lane, once the giant skeleton came down defensively from the Portuguese, Surgical Goblin and Loa change things up and go right, but instead that does not work out for them. Counter push gets the right-hand tower down to 954, and Portugal chooses to poison off that Magic Archer, knowing that a bigger push is about to be built on that side. Hog Rider comes through. This time, rather than using the bomb tower, Mini P.E.K.K.A in reply. Miner wall breakers, right-hand lane, bats as well. Arrows get a lot of value there, taking 4 off for 3. But that Miner being completely left alone. Rocket gets the hog. Wow, that entire push left-hand lane destroyed in the blink of an eye. But a raged-up Musketeer does get a shot right-hand lane. Bomb tower high. Takes care of the wall breakers, but Miner does not get picked up. Down to 314 right-hand lane. Hog Rider left-hand lane. Musketeer behind. E-Wiz high. Mini P.E.K.K.A high. Mini P.E.K.K.A gets the Hog Rider off the board. 314 right-hand side. That should be it. Portugal should take game number 2 here. All they have to do is get some spells down, rocket in, GG, well played. Portugal evens things up in game number 2. And that's a big, big win for Portugal. That's a big-time win, extending this 2v2 set, and obviously no jitters after losing game number 1 in a bit of a heartbreaker. Had game 1 sewn up, lost it, and then now in game 2 came out and played a gem, and you saw the varying the defense. Right? They saw that the Hog EQ was coming in left-hand lane, how successful it was the first time around, decided not to give the same interaction. So when that next Hog Rider came in, E-Wiz and Mini P.E.K.K.A stops the Hog Rider from getting on tower. Very, very smart, very, very well played by the Portuguese side, and the Dutch team just could not deal with the Miner on the right-hand side. You saw over and over and over again the wall breakers not getting connections, but instead forcing the defense high, and Surgical Goblin and Loai having no answer for picking up the Miner on the back end. So every single Miner coming in, getting multiple swings. Portugal runs it back and runs it right. So here we are, 1-1 going into the third and final game of the 2v2 set. And taking a look at the stats provided by our friends at Stats Royale. And you saw a lot of spell cycle coming out from Portugal. You can see almost double, actually precisely double spell elixir spent by the Portuguese side, and the Netherlands never able to pull the trigger on that freeze, the last piece of this hog equation. You gotta wonder about that Hog Rider Lumberjack into the right-hand lane. Didn't get anything done, didn't get really any damage on tower, and didn't support what they needed to do on the left-hand side. So you see the idea they were going for, but going into the strong side tower for the Portuguese and into their weak side tower, and that resulted in some significant damage in the opposite direction from Portugal. So big questions to whether or not that move was the nail in the coffin here, but you mix that in with the very nice defensive rocket that cleaned everything up, the biggest push that came down the lane for the Netherlanders, and here we go, game number 3, all tied up. Lava Hound for the Dutch. Dark Prince right-hand lane. Surgical Goblin has turned into quite a talented 2v2 player, especially in these last couple of seasons. Yeah, there was an idea of keeping him, reserving him for 1v1, but when CRL West switched the order and made King of the Hill set number 2, they realized in that spring season that putting Surgical Goblin and Canario together in 2v2 could mean they could run the table like crazy, and there were 5 matches in a row where Team Liquid won the match purely with Surgical Goblin and Canario, taking 2v2 and then taking the King of the Hill very easily. And in that season, Surgical Goblin went 11-6 in 2v2, 5-2 in sets. In this fall season, moved out of the 2v2 and back into the 1v1, letting Diego B and Canario be the primary 2v2 duo for Team Liquid. Loweye has moved in and out of 2v2, played a lot of 2v2 in his opening season in CRL EU with SK Gaming, but then moved back with Misfits, played a bunch of 2v2, did not have the same success in that spring season, and so moved out of 2v2 and played only a little bit in the fall 2019 split. Have yet to figure out, to learn where Loweye will end up in 2020 for CRL. The Dutch side with the lead tower down. Under 700 on their right-hand tower, so I expect that right-hand tower will go down in the next 40 seconds, although a couple good catches by Surgical Goblin and Loweye could completely change everything. 2 Lava Hounds on the board, and that tornado ban makes that very difficult. So there you go, Miner to the back of the tower. That Miner does not get caught despite the double drop. 67 HP, so that tower will fall. Portugal needs to play some strong defense here to stay in it. Tower does go down. Portugal able to hold off on that big push, but oh no, look at all of it's escaping. Dark Prince gets on tower, 1328 right-hand side. Here we go, sudden death overtime. Portugal avoids giving up that tower, does extend us into the sudden death period, but still very, very far behind. A lot of ground needs to be made up. Such a hard question of when do you push and when do you defend in this situation. That right-hand tower in a lot of trouble. Guards in the middle, you see there to try to pick up what they thought would be wall breakers in the pocket. The wall breakers don't come, so 3 elixir expended with no real success. That's a big time lightning. Miner in, trying to pick up the skeletons. Wall breakers cannot get through. Lava Hounds double on the right-hand side. Miner in as well. That poison, this should be it. And there you go. That's going to be it. The Netherlands takes game 3 of 2v2, wins the set. Surgical Goblin and Loweye weather the storm. 2 very close games against Portugal. Nearly lost game number 1, lost game number 2, and then locked it down in game 3. Got enough of an advantage that Portugal had no answer to so many Lava Hounds in the air. For a long time, Lava Hound disappeared from the meta when we had no bans in 2v2. In the spring season for CRL, there were no bans in 2v2, and Tornado was everywhere. Lava Hound really struggled a lot. You saw Dignitas ran Lava Hound a ton and had a lot of trouble with it. So then we went to WCG, World Cyber Games, and we all looked at that meta there and said, you know what? 2v2 is much healthier when you have bans, specifically 2v2. Of course, some people want bans across all 3 sets, but if there's one set that needs it to be healthy at all, 2v2 really was the one, because it was kind of stale without bans at all. Bans come in, and now you see a much bigger variety, including Lava Hound being more viable when that Tornado is taken off the board. Taking a look at the stats from that 3rd and final 2v2 game, and you can see a lot of Lava Hound play from the Dutch squad, getting 6 down in a very short amount of time, and Portugal just could not keep up with the pressure. And you see that Rocket against Lava Hound without Tornado, that Rocket loses a ton of value. So the Rocket not played a single time in that final game, and going wall breakers all 3 games as the Portuguese side. Maybe some variations on a theme, but kind of looks like the same, very similar, if not the same look all 3 games. Surgical Goblin and Loweye able to get through 2v2 without falling. And now it all comes down to 1v1, most likely Bob the Rock for the Netherlands. Will it be Lucas or Derp coming out for Portugal. Derp had a rough outing last time, falling 0-2. Lucas, their star player, did not appear. Curious to see if they pull the trigger and bring him out this time with everything on the line. A reminder of the stakes. Of course, I've said it many times. I'll say it one more time in case you're just joining us. If the Netherlands wins, they and Germany are both guaranteed a way through. If Portugal wins, everything becomes very complicated, and the Dutch game against Germany becomes a do-or-die game, becomes a very interesting game that could change a lot of things. Of course, if Germany can win all three of their matches, other things get crazy. So, of course, a lot left to be played. This is going to be the end of week 2 for this group, and then week 3 will determine all the final pieces. But right now, Lucas or Derp, potentially, Portugal fighting for their lives in this tournament with this 1v1 set, and I get it right. There we go. Lucas is coming out for the Portuguese side against Bob the Rock. Lucas GSM, 8,110, a personal best, and his best finish, 57th on ladder, and does have some pretty high global tournament finishes as well. Number 2 being his best in there, currently competing in the Orange Crown League with the Titans, along with a lot of his Portuguese teammates. So Hog EQ for Bob the Rock. And we see Barb Barrel and Barb Hut for Lucas. The end of that Barb Hut is so different now with the rework that came in our last update. There's 2 Barbarians released on it falling. Same number of Barbarians total from the Barbarian Hut, but now with a different pace, shorter life, faster spawn rate. Hog Rider, Giant Skeleton, Earthquake from Bob. That Giant Skeleton should take out the Night Witch. Does not get to the Flying Machine. And the Flying Machine will get one raged up shot on the right-hand side. 2017, Lucas taking control of the game back from Bob. Night Witch, Lumberjack, Barb Hut. Lumberjack makes this one very, very interesting for Lucas. Bob the Rock also playing what's been a little more popular lately, this Hog Rider deck with Giant Skeleton. Ice Wiz NATO obviously has lots of defensive capability, and there comes the Earthquake on that Barb Hut. A little bit of value, taking the lead back. 1904 top right tower for Lucas. That's a smart poison from Lucas, because that Magic Archer is going to be stuck in the poison range as she tries to take off the Barbarians. And Bob decides to go Giant Skeleton. Bob the Rock certainly solidified his reputation with some great play in Clash Contender Series, so much so that his teammate, former Team Queso player Saint Belican, when he was looking at the Orange Crown League for this season, chose Cream Esports specifically because they had room for Bob the Rock. That's how much he believes in Bob's skills, and he's not the only one. In 2020, Bob has already gotten 12th at Game History Cup 2 and 16th at the Bren Chong Cup, so top tier performances from the young Dutch player. Two big hog hits, 983 right hand side. Bob back in the lead, the Lava Hound down. Giant Skeleton dies high, and the Baby Dragon does not get hit. This is a lot of trouble right here for Bob. Bomb tower down. Ice was trying to clean all that up. I don't know if it can. Wow, 72 HP. Ice Wiz trying to keep things alive, but cannot do it. Lucas takes game number 1 off Bob. Great patience from Lucas. There's been a lot of controversy and discussion about plays like Lava first play and Golem first play. Lucas goes the opposite direction, saves the Lava Hound until very, very late in the game, plays sharp defense, and then at the most opportune moment drops a Lava Hound and pushes all the way across to get the win. And you saw just at that moment, there was nothing that really Bob could do. Tried everything. Tried to get the bomb tower to hold things there for the Ice Wiz, but in the end, just too much coming down the lane in that counter push. And not able to stop it from taking his tower down. So Bob the Rock falls in game number 1. Lucas, gotta wonder what might be different if they put Lucas into the 1v1 in the first match. Here we go. Taking a look, and you saw it was just one Lava Hound. The only one played, but it made all the difference. Good patience by Lucas, a very experienced player, has been competing in Clash Royale on the scene since 2017, not just playing in game, but playing in actual competitions all the way back to 2017, so a long competition experience and a successful run too. Red Bull MEO Portuguese champion in 2018, or not champion, number 2 finish, the runner-up. Eurogamer Face 2018, got second there as well, and of course, a lot of experience if you watch SLO, 2 seasons with Penguins, and then La Copa and the Orange Crown League with the Titans. So a lot of experience for Lucas, not to mention being an 8K player. Bob the Rock, a little newer to competitive play, but has made a big splash as 2019 has moved into 2020. The 2 big feathers in his cap, or 3 that kind of got him noticed in 2019. A number 1 and number 2 finish in the global tournament, and a number 4 finish on ladder. So those got him noticed, and then got picked up for CCS, and since then has been on an absolute tear. Can he get back in the winner's column against Lucas in game number 2? Minor this time for Bob to the safe spot. Bar barrel in reply for Lucas. And both players taking their time after that little opening. You see a minor come out that quickly, you're like, okay, the pace is going to be put on pretty heavily. But now wondering if... Nope, giant skeleton, so I was going to say it was looking like lava minor for a second. Nice graveyard, an aggressive graveyard from Lucas early. And look at that, a nice tornado from Bob, recognizing that baby dragon would probably get a lot of splash damage on his tower, nados the baby dragon away, and now has a healthy giant skeleton and baby dragon going the opposite direction. Battle healer behind the giant skeleton. Distracts the baby dragon as well. Very nicely played by Lucas. And now look at this, Lucas just waiting. Sitting back. Not trying to push too hard. Gonna let Bob make the first move here. Didn't press the elixir advantage. Giant skeleton down, bar barrel in response. And that's some really veteran level play there, right? You have this big elixir advantage that you've built, but you know what you're playing. You're playing Graveyard, you know what you're playing against. It's Minor Loon. And Lucas deciding that he'd rather play defense than kind of throw troops into Bob's side. The question is, will that pay off for him? That balloon does not connect. Night Witch going opposite direction. I'm gonna be very curious to see if that choice to reset like that ends up hurting Lucas in the end or ends up being the right move. He's a smart player though. That's a lot of elixir advantage to give up though, just to make sure you have that defense all perfect. And Lucas continuing to leak even in this stage. Bomb tower way early. Minor goes to the Night Witch. He is high. The zap makes enough room. That balloon does connect left-hand side. And Lucas pulls the trigger on Graveyard into that left-hand lane as well. And now starting to wonder if maybe that veteran-style move might backfire on Lucas. Giving up the elixir advantage, suddenly he's on the back foot. Behind on elixir, behind on damage. Here we are, sudden death overtime. Beautiful bar barrel looking to get onto that Tesla. $11.64 right-hand side. That balloon could connect. Just barely falls short. Baby Dragons will meet in the middle. Final 90 seconds. Lucas plays the E-Wiz very low, bomb tower high. Baby Dragon looking to make a counter push, and this Baby Dragon played high into that left-hand lane, knowing that whole right-hand side is going to go down. Will the E-Wiz be enough? Will not. Lucas in a ton of trouble. Final minute of gameplay. Can't answer the miner. Tornado pulls all that together, and that balloon's going to get there. That's going to finish things off. Bob the Rock gets one back, evens things up. This has been a back and forth battle between the Netherlands and Portugal. Bob the Rock getting that one off Lucas. It looked like Lucas had a good spot early on, played very aggressive, got some great damage. And then now, hindsight's 20/20, but all that elixir leaked, that huge advantage thrown into the wayside to make sure he had the defense set up properly. Maybe that he knew it was a rough matchup for him and wanted to make sure he had all the pieces together for that balloon, but you get that advantage early and giving it up, that's a tough one. That's a tough call. Lucas falling to Bob in game number 2. Bob now moving his overall record in this tournament to 3-1, a 75% win rate. Let's take a look at the stats from that game, courtesy of our friends at Stats Royale. Bob the Rock, Minor Loon. And you look at this and you look at that graveyard, and there aren't a ton of responses for Bob. Baby Dragon, the guards, which can be poisoned out, and the poison never came down. And a lot of that is because of how quickly Bob got back to that balloon and that miner over and over again. The giant skeleton ended up being a real confounding issue for Lucas because he had to dedicate some of that ground support to that giant skeleton. One giant skeleton escapes, and that's a game changer. Giant skeleton balloon together, so frustrating, so annoying. You see that sometimes in mid-ladder. Bob the Rock pulling it out here in high-level gameplay against Lucas. And you see that elixir leak difference, 13.27. Over 10 more elixir leaked by Lucas than Bob. And while leaked elixir is not the primary stat that you usually focus on, in this case, that's a big question mark. It was purposeful. He was making a choice, but was it the right choice? Yeah, the balloon, really difficult. The E-Wiz and the bomb tower is not a good balloon counter. The Baby Dragon helps, but isn't great. The Night Witch can be useful with the bats, but the E-Wiz, unable to really hold it on its own. So a rough one there. Bob played brilliantly. Excellent use of the tornado. And you saw that final sequence, opening up the lane for that balloon to get in on the left-hand side. Really tough one. Let's go ahead and jump into game number 3. Lucas top of your screen, Bob at the bottom. Hog Rider right-hand side. Looks like Bob going back to the deck from game number 1 potentially. And that Ram Rider is going to be really annoying for that Hog. Look at that Hog Rider just frozen in place. Ram Rider picked up, but that Bandit, beautiful timing on the tornado from Bob. Great King Tower activation from Bob the Rock. Got the timing down perfectly. First minute away. And Bob ahead on damage with the King Tower activation. Magic Archer will get some value. Not that much though. Battle Healer doesn't quite get there early enough, and that shot not quite lined up. Hog Rider supported by Ice Wiz and Magic Archer. Barb Barrel almost takes it all out, but Bob with a good response from those stab goblins. Bandit not able to connect. Bob playing a gem so far. Both of these guys with high quality gameplay. Battle Healer in the back for Portugal. Bob playing the giant skeleton high, wants to win that bridge battle. And look at how far outside the magic archer is from Lucas, way out of that tornado ring, making sure it cannot become part of this bridge battle and get eaten up. Bandit picked up by the giant skeleton. Lucas with a smart defensive construction, but not able to capitalize on the left lane counter push down to 1460 right-hand side. Battle Healer Nightwish, right-hand lane. Fireball takes the Magic Archer off the board. And there we go, a little bit more Magic Archer chip from Lucas. Ram Rider down. Bomb Tower so dominant. The leading building in the game. A little more chip damage from the Magic Archer. And Bob's NATO work today has been perfect. 2 games in a row now where the tornado play has been the key to Bob the Rock's success. Using it there to sneak through another Hog Rider hit. Stab Goblin's not in cycle to protect the Ice Whiz. And that tornado pulls it all together. Hog Rider goes down. Ram Rider opposite direction, 140, right-hand lane. Bob very close to winning, but has to defend here. Low on Elixir. Defensive Earthquake down to try to stop this from happening. Oh my word. Bob down to 140. Fireball comes in. Lucas does it. Lucas does it. Bob not able to finish the right-hand side. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Wow. Absolute wow. I cannot believe that happened. I wish we had replay here. I so very much want to see that one. Hold on, checking to see if we can. I don't think we can make that happen. That would be absolutely wonderful if we could, but not going to do it. Unbelievable. I wonder if... I don't know about that. Bob, I think, had the... I believe the Earthquake at tourney standard would have taken that tower down. Wow. Wow, Bob had that one sewn up. Lucas gets back in it. And just the one Earthquake played from Bob and played in the wrong spot. You gotta wonder, was that a misclick, potentially? Played it on defense. Didn't get it done. Really crazy that was not able to get that finished. Lucas coming out with the win. And now we're going to King of the Hill. Yeah, that EQ would have finished the tower. For a second there, I was like, wait a second. Maybe the EQ doesn't finish tower because he's playing it on defense, but that would clearly have finished the tower. So Bob totally just throws at the end, maybe trying to make sure that had to be a misclick. He had to have something else planned there on defense, and he played the EQ. I am shocked. You can hear it in my voice right now. Bob must be beside himself. Wow. One Earthquake played in the exact wrong spot. I really would love to know what was going on there. I'm sure Bob will address it on Twitter later. I know I'll be looking. Lucas put the pressure on, and I mean, look, in the end, he was in a lot of trouble. Portugal had their back to the wall, was about to go down, and Lucas put the pressure on and got what he wanted. Not just the win, but he made Bob make a mistake. Wow. Unbelievable. I'm going to look at the chat and see what you guys have to say about that one, because this is... I don't go to the chat often, but right now I am. Let's see. Garrett saying he would have won with the EQ. I don't think he misclicked. Looked like a tie where you would get good poison value. Poison in all caps. So, very interesting. Maybe he was... like, maybe his brain shorted out for a second and thought maybe poison would go there. Who knows? Who knows? Yeah, 61 times 3. And that tower had 140 on it. Was tower at 190 or 140? I thought the tower was at 140. Need to go ahead and take I wish I could go back and take a look at what that tower was at. If someone can rewind on the YouTube, I thought that was at 140, but I could be wrong. You know what? I can go and check. Let me go ahead and bring up Stats Royale. They should already have that. I should be able to see what the actual tower was at that moment. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into the Netherlands and take a look at Bob's games. Has that one been plugged in yet? All right, against Lucas. Take a look at the match details. This isn't super clear. Bob's total HP. Let's see. Lucas's total HP. Let me bring this over for a second. I'll have the answer right now. I have to make this window wider. That's really annoying. Hold on. I will have this info for you guys in a second. Lucas's right-hand tower was at 140. It was at 140, so within EQ range. Whoever was saying it was at 190, you had it wrong there, brother. So that was in earthquake range, Bob. Oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah, who knows what's happening. Look, that's a stressful moment. That's a really stressful moment, top to bottom, right? Let's take a look at the King of the Hill lineups. And, you know, you got a feel for him. Bob benched for King of the Hill. Giuliano, Surgical Goblin, and Loai. All in the King of the Hill for Netherlands. Vitor, Derp, and Lucas coming out for the Portuguese side. And let's jump back into the action. Giuliano making his debut for the No-Tilt Worlds. He does have a #1 finish in the global tournament, making his second appearance for the Netherlands. So will be a balloon for Giuliano, and looking like it could be a variation of the little Chen deck out of Vitor. Would not be surprised to see a Royal Giant jump in here with what we've seen so far. Of course, could see a Bar Barrel and a Goblin Barrel and Royal Giant. So there goes the RG. It is a variation on the little Chen deck. Made famous at CRL World Finals 2018. This is a fascinating deck choice. This deck can be so frustrating, so devastating, but it does not have a direct damage spell. Unless you count the Goblin Barrel, if that is, in fact, the 7th or 8th card here. So it's a deck where you can do a lot, but if your opponent can lock down the defense and you can't break through, there is no way. I've seen towers within big spell range unable to fall because of that one weakness in this deck. And Goblin Barrel down, so it is a variation. Hunter doesn't stop all the damage. So look at this, Firecracker Zappies into this little Chen style deck. Firecracker getting that left-hand tower down to 1281. Zappies and Dark Goblin and Bats together. A lot of trouble for that balloon, although this one might connect. Nice snowball, and it does hit. Very nice snowball from Giuliano. Royal Giant takes left-hand tower down to 321, final 30 seconds of regulation. Does Giuliano play defense here, or does he push that right-hand side? Firecracker gets the Magic Archer off the board. Miner and balloon to that right-hand side. This time, Zappy's come out. Dark Goblin, will it be enough? And it stops that balloon from connecting just as the tower goes down on the left-hand side. Vitor comes out for Portugal and gets a big win running a variation of the Little Chen deck. Giuliano falls. Portugal now 2 games away from taking out the Netherlands. Man, that deck is so frustrating. So frustrating, and variants have popped up in different ways. Of course, Little Chen running the first edition of that, the first popular edition of that at CRL World Finals 2018, are making that deck well known. And then different versions of that popped into CRL during the 2019 season in CRL West, with the the Mega Knight is a popular version of it, but then Giant Skeleton getting mixed in as well. Giant Skeleton has moved into the 1v1 meta pretty firmly over the course of 2019 and 2020, which seemed unthinkable in 2018. So now we see a new variation, Zappies and Firecracker in. That balloon in the end, able to get one connection, not able to get down again. The Zappies weren't cycled the first time. Dark Goblin and Bats couldn't do it, so Dark Goblin Zappies second time around. I believe Bats were in that sequence of defense as well. And so there you go. Wow, Vitor takes game number 1. Giuliano gets an unwarm welcome to his No Tilt Worlds campaign. And now up next, a player you know very well, the reigning defending Clash Royale League world champion with Team Liquid, Surgical Goblin, will step into King of the Hill against Vitor for this head-to-head play. Remember, if you don't already know how King of the Hill works, each team has 3 players. Each player has just 1 life, so if you lose, you're out. The first team to eliminate all 3 from the other side takes the set and match victory. And here we go, Vitor versus Surgical Goblin. Surgical Goblin has not played head-to-head in this tournament as of yet, but he's Surgical Goblin. You have to imagine he's in pretty good position right now. 19 individual awards, 23 overall team awards throughout his career. Of those awards, 19 of those are first place finishes between his team and solo play. An interesting choice from Vitor, looking like it's going to be the Magic Archer Bridge Spam version, the one that essentially won the Clash Royale League Worlds for Surgical Goblin. So Vitor going central meta with a deck that Surge knows very, very well. Surgical Goblin. Miner to the back, turns the P.E.K.K.A. around. Look at that. P.E.K.K.A. and Inferno Dragon connect. Ewiz comes down, but damage done. Mini P.E.K.K.A. gets on that tower, 10-26 right-hand lane, and Surge has a lot of Elixir, although Royal Ghost will connect. Inferno Dragon. No zap to reset. Not enough Elixir there for Vitor. Now chooses to go with the Kite. So Vitor takes that right-hand tower down to 949. We have a slugfest going back and forth right now between the Portuguese upstart and the Dutch star. Tower does fall right-hand lane. Surgical Goblin up 1 with 1:15 left in the second game of King of the Hill. 949 right-hand tower. Surge now knows where Vitor has to go, or where he's likely to go. The question is, does Vitor set up into that left-hand lane? And all that done without getting the Lava Hound even in play. The Miner to the back from Surgical Goblin. Beautiful play that opened things wide up. And you see not supporting that on that side is Vitor, instead knowing Fireball's probably coming, and is going to need to play some more defense with the Ewiz on the left-hand side. So he does 2 Lava Hounds and a Baby Dragon. Poison down to get the pop from the first Lava Hound. Inferno Dragon, though, making a beeline for that King Tower. Has to play the Bandit in response to the Inferno Dragon with that left-hand tower in a ton of trouble. Mini P.E.K.K.A. finishes things off. Surgical Goblin might even get the 3 crown here. Vitor trying to stop it from happening. There's no stopping momentum. Surgical Goblin. 3 crown down, and it was all started with that beautiful play. Miner to the back. P.E.K.K.A. goes for a walk. Mini P.E.K.K.A. just strolls right up to that tower, takes a couple swings, and next thing you know, Vitor in a world of hurt. And all that done without even touching the Lava Hound until the late stages of the game. Surgical Goblin doing what he does. Beautiful, beautiful play. And again, another moment here where you have a player maybe kicking themselves for a second. Pekka comes down and Surge just punished, absolutely punished the early 7 elixir commitment from Vitor. Now we're all tied up 1-1 between the Dutch side and Portugal. What was looking for a second like a rout, now suddenly in the hands of Surgical Goblin. 2 more talented players for Portugal going to be coming up, but they have a very tough out in front of a man who definitely can get it done. Only 1 King of the Hill sweep in regular season play for Surgical Goblin. Of course, has had some pretty big performances in the playoffs as well in CRL, not to mention the big 1 elixir victory over Morton. And of course, we might even get that rematch potentially when the Dutch side meets Germany. The question is, what will the stakes of that rematch be? Will there be 0 stakes? Will the Netherlands have already clinched a spot into the out rounds, or will it be for the Dutch survival in this tournament? We don't know yet, but we have a lot more to be played. Potentially 3 more games in this King of the Hill set, and you know, it's interesting to see someone run a deck that you know Surgical Goblin has played so many times. You go central meta in this matchup in a deck that you've seen Surgical Goblin dominate with over and over. The deck that took Team Liquid and Surgical Goblin in particular to that World Championship for CRL. To pull that deck out against Surgical Goblin is an interesting choice, to say the least. But Vitor did his job, got 1 down, got Giuliano off the board, so now goes to the bench and just has to wait and see what the rest of his team can do in this matchup. So we're almost done with week 2, or halfway through week 2 of our NTWorlds group stage. Of course, if you don't know how this has worked out, 32 teams overall in this event. We're drawn into 8 groups of 4. Those groups were a semi-random draw because those groups had to be sorted out by region because of scheduling issues. So 1 group for CRL Asia, the rest of the group split up between the European region and the Americas region. So those groups were randomly drawn. Each team had its own seed, and once the seed was drawn, they were put into a specific group. The top 2 teams from each group will move on to the round of 16. Derplight now up for Portugal, looking for his first win in No Tilt GG, and goes Lava Hound right land lane, an immediate Hunter in response from Surgical Goblin. Magic Archer way in the back. Fireball takes it off the board. Skeletons and Ewiz, nice defense against those pups. Baby Dragon will not get a Belch on tower. First minute away, Derplight has taken first blood. And Elixir pretty much dead even. A pressure knight in the left-hand lane from Surge. And now it's Derp's turn to try to pull the same move, and not quite able to get it done. The zap was trying. That was a nice zap. You saw what Derp was going for, but the snowball from Surgical Goblin stops the mini pack from getting on the left-hand side. 90 seconds remain. Baby Dragon right-hand side. And again, Fireball just getting that Magic Archer out of the way. And Balloon runs right into an Inferno Dragon. I don't think Derplight will choose to support this Inferno Dragon. We'll go ahead and get a little bit of burn from it, but Magic Archer stops before it hits the true second gear. 17-17 right-hand lane. Entering double elixir time. Derplight ahead. And look at that miner to pull the knight away, but how will he deal with the balloon? Baby Dragon not going to stop the first drop. Does stop a second from connecting. Mini P.E.K.K.A looking to slide on in. Stopped by the E-Wings. Miner to the Magic Archer. That Hunter not able to get that Baby Dragon off quickly enough. 703 right-hand lane as we go into sudden death. Derplight ahead right now. Inferno Dragon down. Is there a snowball to reset? Yes, it is. That balloon does not connect. Last second fireball. Miner still going. Miner to the back of the tower, right-hand side, picked up by the knight. Skeletons high, zapped off. Can that mini P.E.K.K.A get to the tower? It does! It does! E-Wiz down, but 105. All he needs is a fireball. Miner goes in, and the fireball just barely beats the Miner snowball from Surgical Goblin. What a photo finish. Derplight taking out Surgical Goblin for Portugal. Wow, what a wild finish. Miner was in, snowball was coming, but the fireball just barely beats it out. Portugal now one win away from shocking everyone and taking down this Dutch side. There were two squads that I picked as sleeper squads for this tournament. One of those was Romania, who, guess what, shocked Spain. The other one, Portugal, who has a chance of doing the same thing here against the Netherlands. Right now, Portugal has 2 players left on their side and just 1 for the Netherlands. So the question now is, can they beat Loweye? You have Derplight playing very well right now, just put up a really great game against Surgical Goblin. So who knows? Who knows what we'll see here? Surge made that very close, so tight, just a photo finish. Who could get there first? Fireball gets in, and now suddenly the Netherlands gotta be looking back on that EQ. That EQ was it. The Dutch side could be done with this. Bob has to be kicking himself right now. 140 HP. Earthquake played on the defensive side, and next thing we know, the Netherlands facing the possibility of losing and then being in a fight for their life against the German side. Here we go. Game number 4, King of the Hill, Derplight against Loweye, and Derp going Sparky. Minor wall breakers for Loweye. So this will be interesting. A lot of answers to the Sparky, a lot of ways to distract. Mega Knight high, and mini P.E.K.K.A low. Gonna be a tough one here for Dirt. Mega Knight gets a full leap. Firecracker goes ahead, switches lanes. And counterplay from Loweye. Miner to the back, and E-Wiz does stop the minions. So a lot of ways for Loweye to deal with this Sparky deck. Fireball pushes that back, takes it off. 90 seconds away. Loweye in a great position to bring us to game 5. The Netherlands took set number 1, the 2v2. Portugal stole, maybe were given, the 1v1 set. Now Loweye trying to extend this one. Lucas waiting in the wings. Will he need to be used? Ahead by 2 with a healthy Sparky on the board. And now look at that. Mini P.E.K.K.A trying to protect that Sparky. Unable to do so. Fireball comes in. Goblin Giant does connect though. And just like that, Portugal back in the lead by a mile. Loweye cycling Musketeer left-hand lane. Firecracker will get a little extra damage. Loweye now loading up right-hand side. And a great kite with the Goblin Giant. What does Derplight have for that mini P.E.K.K.A? Wall breakers will slide on through. Nothing to stop those. Miner on the right-hand side. Gonna chip away at that tower. E-Wiz comes down to stop that. Splash damage does not get on the tower. 499 right-hand side. Left-hand side, 653. Derp and Loweye very close. And Derplight now just putting the pressure on. Goblin Giant making the beeline for the tower. Doing everything he can to try to stop it is Loweye. I don't think he can. Fireball in. Goblin Giant hits. And there you go. There you go. Portugal just took out the Netherlands. Portugal took out the Netherlands. Wow. What an amazing finish. What an amazing turn of events. Portugal takes out the Netherlands. The Dutch side watches this match slip from between their fingers. Bob has had such an amazing 2019 and the last 6 months have been great. But you know, the one thing he's thinking about is those final seconds of Game 3 of 1v1. What a horrible way to end up with this result for the match. Man, you got to feel for the kid, feel for the Dutch side overall. Portugal now in a great position because remember, the only match they have left is their Finland match. So Portugal now lost to Germany, but beat the Netherlands. Portugal now in a good spot. They should take the win over Finland. That should be a match in their favor. Of course, the Finnish side could surprise everybody, but they shouldn't. So Portugal now has a really good chance of going 2-1. And now the pressure is on the Netherlands because Germany, currently sitting at 2-0, that's their last matchup. The Netherlands has to play against Germany, and that was supposedly their hardest matchup. So now the Netherlands going to be in what might be a do or die situation. If they lose and Portugal wins, it'll be Portugal through and the Netherlands out. There you have the 2-1 reverse sweep for Portugal. Wow. Wow. So there you have it. Look at the standings right now. I believe that the Netherlands-Portugal standings should be reversed because of the head-to-head. So I believe right now Portugal actually is above Netherlands because the first tiebreaker is head-to-head record. And yeah, Portugal only has Finland left, so Portugal will more likely than not finish 2-1. The Netherlands, no guaranteed win here. Germany could easily 3-0, and you know what? I bet you they want to do that. I guarantee you that Morton wants to send Surgical Goblin home packing. I guarantee you that. So the Netherlands now going to be in a really, really hard spot. Wow. Just an unbelievable, shocking result. But again, I put a video up on YouTube before this tournament began with Koji-san, the Spanish caster, and with the mobile Matt, the director of mobile gaming for Complexity Esports. And we talked about all these different groups and the two teams to watch out for that were not top seeds were Romania and Portugal, and both of them have come through and put on big, shocking performances, kind of throwing the whole thing for a loop. Lucas getting back in that 1v1, and then Derp. Derp had a rough outing in the first match against Germany, but when it mattered the most, here against the Netherlands in King of the Hill, Derplight pulls through and puts on two big-time wins, taking out Surgical Goblin and Loweye. And now Portugal really seems like they might be in control of their own fate. They have the head-to-head with the Netherlands. The big question now is if the Netherlands, if they will probably beat Finland. If the Netherlands beats Germany, it's a three-way tie because they've each beat Germany, beat Portugal, Portugal beat Netherlands. If Netherlands beats Germany, it goes all the way around, and then it becomes very complicated, drops down into further tiebreakers. So here's our schedule for our next match day. Opening things up will be Argentina versus El Salvador, then Bolivia versus Nicaragua, Colombia against Peru, and then finally, it'll be the U.S. looking to rebound from their opening loss against the Dominican Republic. Group C also looking very complicated at the moment. Wow. Just absolute wow today. You know, we went through this whole day without any huge upsets. Turkey, of course, winning the opening match was a small upset, right? People thought Italy was probably going to beat Turkey, but then the next two matches went pretty much as you expected. Clean, easy victories for the higher rated player. In the end, though, it was Portugal shocking the world, taking out the Dutch. We'll see you back here. Don't forget to subscribe. This is NTWorlds. I'm Rich Slayton. See you next time.